It's a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
If you're in the business of making money, it would behoove you to be a safe and inclusive space.
Whether you agree with what someone is saying has nothing to do with his right to say it.
Combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. He's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the...
What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. So, not to be that guy. Who am I kidding? I'm absolutely trying to be that guy. That's all I do is shit on people's parties, right? But it's for an actual reason, and it has historical context to it, so it's not as if I'm just making it up out of thin air. I can't be the only one who's, reading the wrestling news sites, who's watching the wrestling people and the business and journalists, quote unquote, by the way, talk about their excitement for Mercedes Mone coming to AEW tomorrow night for big business. And you know what? There's an old saying. It went something along the lines of, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, you can lock me up in a padded cell and I could be bouncing off the walls like Mystical. Trust me, it went something along the lines of that. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old fans? Like, what are we doing here? Okay, if you're excited for Mercedes Mone, Sasha Banks, however you like to refer to her, if you're excited for her to come to, AEW because you want to see her matches, or, she's actually in a company that you can watch on a weekly basis and see her wrestle on a weekly basis, and you get to actually, soak up in the Mercedes Mone fandom because you haven't been able to, capture near that on a consistent basis for the better part of nearly 2 years now. Well, let me be the guy to let you know that's not going to happen at AEW also. Like, let's just get things out of the way really quick. Let's just explicitly say this outright. You do know Tony's just bringing her in just to pop a number, right? Like, first and foremost, like, we know this is true, right? And for the people who are out there saying, whoa, Devontae, you don't understand. Well, he paid her all this money, so he's definitely going to use her, right? Oh, silly Billy, you're so adorable. You being in such a denial state. It's so cute. Let me pop you on the nose real quick. Nah, that's usually how it goes for most, if not all, WWE superstars who have, been coming through the company in the past. Not named Bryan Danielson or CM Punk. And that's because, they were actual main event talents in WWE. Yeah, no, that's just simply not how it works. If you were not prominent in WWE, which unfortunately people can try to put Sasha on a pedestal as much as they want, I wouldn't necessarily call her prominent. That's not me saying it. That's her saying it. That's why she walked out of the company. Her going to AEW, it's nothing more than her, for the most part, getting a payday. She outright, for the most part, basically admitted to that a couple of days ago in her interview. Or what was it on the Twitter post? I don't even know the source of it. But my point being that she outright said it for the most part as far as her agenda going to AEW. She's going to use the mark for as much as money she can get out of him, like every other wrestler should be doing at this point in time. And she wants to go back to WWE because she actually has goals over there because, it's WWE. And that's when goals actually matter. You're talking about end-game goals versus trophies in your, video game system. I'm pretty sure the trophies matter than the end-game goals, right? Unless you're unlocking something, but that's what you have cheat codes for. And Tony Khan's a massive cheat code. So what do you guys think is going to happen when she comes to AEW? Like, be realistic here for a second. Be realistic. Because I heard so many people talking about Aleister Black, who, by the way, I like Malachi, but just being honest, he went to AEW. What happened? Huh? Andrade. He went to AEW. What happened? Huh? Miro. Same thing. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk came back to WWE. Hey, where's John Morrison? Wasn't he around for a minute? Adam Cole? Wasn't he doing something for a minute? I don't remember, honestly. What's his name? Keith Lee? I forgot his name. Yeah, no, folks. See, that's how this game is usually played. The whole point is to use the money in order to get their contract, to get them to sign the contract in order to boost your value for that night. And maybe, just maybe, if you can squeeze something else out of them, you can get something else out of them the following week. Or maybe the following show, depending if you want to book them on Rampage or not. But that's all it is in the end of the day. He just wants to... And it sounds, people are about, oh, Devontae, you're being very shallow in your thinking. Am I really, though? Would you put it past Tony Khan to want to have this victory? You know, the billionaire guy who could probably wipe his ass of $100,000. You really want to put it past Tony Khan to not want to have this optically just to say that he got 1 million views and he finally broke up the monotony of not getting 1 million views since last year? You really would put that past Tony Khan? Honestly? Really? Well, again, like I said, let me not be the one to tell you that Santa Claus is not real, but I'll just say this. Go downstairs around 3 o'clock in the morning, and when you see that guy eating your cookies and he turns around and he happens to look like your dad. Now, granted, you know, it might be your mom's boyfriend and your dad's not looking, but it's not Santa Claus, okay? It's not Santa Claus. He's not real. I'm sorry to break that to you. I know, you're 30 years old and you're crying into your sheets. You got your pillow over your face. You're probably going to do something really, really crazy with that news. So I'm going to tell you right now, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. You need to hear this, okay? Be a grown man. You need to hear this. Sasha Banks coming to AEW is nothing more for her a vanity project for the most part, and to get some money out of the guy. And you know, who cares? Probably to boost up her own credibility, to make a name for herself, so when she goes back to WWE, they can see her as a real commodity. Again, see my Cody Rhodes reference. And for Tony Khan, he's just using her in order to boost up the ratings for that week, just so optically he can look like he can actually have something to show to the wrestling fans. See wrestling fans, I told you so, because it's twofold. It's not just for the numbers that week, it's also because of the names that he has currently at the company that he got all at one time. I got Sasha Banks, I got Will Ospreay, I got Will Ospreay, and I got Kazuchika Okada. Who cares? My point being is that you know where it's just an optical gain to him in the end of the day, which is a shame, because even though me personally, explicitly, I'll probably say that I'm not the world's biggest Mercedes Mone fan. I pretty much made my history known for the most part. But it's not to say that she doesn't bring anything to the table. It's not to say that you don't have, you know, if you really wanted to, you have some locked in stories already with her coming in. You know, just saying, like, obviously looking at someone like a Paige, that'd probably be one of the first things that I would do, you know, considering that they have a bunch of history, considering that Paige coming to AEW and her reluctantly getting back in the ring on a consistent basis is probably due to Sasha Banks. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you want to take the route, what I would do personally, and put her directly up in the ring with Toni Storm and taking that belt off of her, you're going to have a lot of fanboys. Oh, Devontae. Oh, this is why Tony Khan's the Booker of the Year and you're just some scrub reacting to him all the goddamn time because you're obsessed with him being the Booker of the Year. Oh, first off, he's not. Sad. I know. You're mad. Oh, you're glad? Yeah, I know you're glad because you're trash. That's what I would do, because inevitably, and I know for some reason AEW fans are okay with this enabling behavior with Tony Khan and his constant going after his reputation of his own championship belts and ruining the prestige of the name in itself. But in the end of the day, the women's championship is going to be inferior underneath anything Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone is going to pertain to, right? Whatever she does, she's going to consistently overshadow the women's championship belt. So why go out of your way to do that, right? Why do that? And I know they have this type of way of thinking, which is so weird, that they feel like, because I tell you what Tony Khan thinks in AEW and all the fanboys, and really kind of to a lesser degree professional wrestling as a whole, because I see this in WWE sometimes too. They really think that the championship belt makes the person, right? And what I mean by that, they feel like, well, if we put this championship belt on the person and then we have Mercedes Mone right here, then it's just more variety in the end of the day, right? That's not how that works. That's not how that works. All you're telling me in the end of the day with Mercedes Mone being there is that everything underneath her is going to be inferior, because it is going to be inferior, because even though Toni Storm has a great gimmick at the moment, Mercedes Mone is a way bigger name. So by default, she's going to overshadow a bunch of people within your company. I went over this on SmackDown already. It's not just the women, it's the men also. There are a bunch of men on the main roster who will be overshadowed by Mercedes Mone. So why go through that trouble of constantly trying to fight against the grain and, well, we have this champion right here, so what we're really doing is spreading the wealth throughout the card. When it comes to the women, we can have the TBS champion, we can have a personal feud with Mercedes, and we can have the women's championship belt. That's not how it works. All you did was just move the TBS championship belt down the pecking order even more than what it already is currently at the moment. I mean, it'll probably be likely at this rate, because you're going to need the women's championship belt to make up for the spot that Mercedes is going to take over right now. That TBS champion, Julia Hart, will probably be lucky to even main event Rampage at this moment. Now, see, here's the thing, though. Here's the dirty little secret. Here's the funny part. Everything that I'm mapping up for you guys right now, honest to God, probably should happen. Really, it should. Now, obviously, you take the belt off of Tony and you put it on Sasha because, A, you'll build the prestige of that championship belt with a women's champion who has a bunch of notoriety, probably more notoriety than your entire women's division combined in regards to name, and that includes the Britt Baker. But also, and that's just not for the title also, but just more so the fact that you can keep it relevant and you can keep it as far as on the pecking order of things on a person who is the most viable, contender on your entire roster when it comes to your women's division, which how things, call me crazy, growing up as a wrestling fan, that's how things used to be. The top guy got the belt. The guy who got the biggest reactions got the belt. But apparently in professional wrestling in 2024, I forgot what year we were born. And apparently in 2024, that's just something that we just kind of gloss over because it's inconvenient for the narrative that we have for our favorite wrestlers, which is your prerogative. You can have whatever prerogative you want to have. That's fine. I agree. Wrestling, bad, because my favorite wrestler isn't in that position. But when wrestling is good, oh, buddy, pal, junior pal. Coincidentally, my favorite wrestler happens to be in that spot. Well, see, again, reverting back. In a perfect world, that'd be pretty awesome. Sasha Banks on top, women's champion. All the women are falling behind her, trying to fight to kind of get a contender shot against her for the at the next pay-per-view. That'd be nice. But do you trust the people in AEW with their equity type of nonsense way of thinking to actually implement any of that? Do you guys actually trust that? Let me ask you guys a question. Coming out of big business tomorrow, and we're going to talk about this during the show, obviously, but coming out of big business tomorrow, realistically, what are you expecting Sasha Banks to be doing with Tony Khan as head booker? What do you realistically expect Sasha Banks to be doing with Tony Khan as the person running creative? She's not going to go up against Tony Storm. He's not going to try to put all his eggs in one basket, is how he will look at it, rather than, kind of making the best of a bad situation and not trying to pull a CM Punk. Because right now, you are in no position at all, period, to try to play games right now with the wrestlers in their position currently at the moment, especially trying to be consistent with that 1 million viewers that you're going to get probably tomorrow night with Sasha Banks, which, by the way, if she doesn't get 1 million viewers, I'm going to laugh so goddamn hard when Wednesday hits or when Thursday hits. Because all it just tells me at the end of the day is, well, folks, what have we learned, huh? Not even Sasha Banks could bring in 1 million views. But like I said, there's a reason why he brought Kazuchika, Okada, Kazuchika, whatever his name is. He brought him in last week rather than this week because he wants to be able to sell the show for next week or, tomorrow night. He didn't bring him in because he doesn't want the promise of Okada, for the most part, kind of wavering back and forth. He wants Okada to show up on this show last week. So when he comes next week, people are anticipating him because they weren't anticipating him being there this week. And then you take that and then you kind of bring it in together and then you conflate it with everything else. So with the rest of the card and then Mercedes Mone, that's what he's trying to do, which I don't blame him. That's pretty smart, actually, if you ask me. But what are you going to do as far as the booking, is considered, as far as creative is considered with Mercedes Mone going forward? Who is she going to take on? I'm not asking you guys who you would like for her to take on. Who do you believe Tony will put her in the ring with for her to take on is what I'm asking realistically. And I look up and down the roster, and you're going to have a bunch of geeks who are going to probably tell me things like, oh, well, she can go up against Willow Nightingale because they have a history. And, revenge, Devontae. No, and no. Oh, Devontae, she could probably go up against someone who needs the rub. No. And no, did you not learn from CM Punk? No, she doesn't need to go up against anyone who needs the rub, okay? Right now, who needs that rub is your ratings. Your ratings needs that rub right about now. You have only 2 people who logically should be going up against Sasha Banks. And no, Jamie Hayter is not a part of it. Get over yourselves. You have 2, and I talked about them earlier. You got Paige, because of the story, and because both girls being in the ring, recognizable by WWE fans, there's a possibility you could probably bring in some new viewers. I don't know how many, but a lot more versus putting her in the ring with any other AEW original. Or you could put her in the ring with Toni Storm for the championship belt. No, she should not be in the ring for Britt Baker. Britt Baker is not that caliber of a star. I'm sorry. Maybe when time goes on, she can be. Maybe when the time comes on and, Sasha needs a random challenger to go for the next pay-per-view, you can probably do something with that. But right now, you trying to capitalize on the momentum of Mercedes Mone? Nah, you ain't got to worry about Britt Baker. You ain't got to worry about no freaking other woman on the roster right now at the moment. None of that stuff. Jamie Hayter, none of them. You have 2 choices. Paige, because of the, obvious notoriety both girls have within WWE and the history and all that stuff. Or Toni Storm, because she happens to be the champion at the moment. There's no if, ands, or buts. There's no 2 sides to this. That's where you should obviously go. Do I trust Toni Storm or Tony Khan to go that path? No. Because like I said, he doesn't give a damn about Sasha Banks. He doesn't give a damn about Mercedes Mone. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm giving you the most obvious situations. I'm pretty sure any booker worth their damn would probably go into. But that would mean that you would actually have to care about the talent. That would mean that you would get out of your own way and not believe that your way of booking, your booking strategy, the same booking strategy that lost you your Booker of the Year award from the Marks who catered to you back in 2023, this year, that same mentality, that same know-it-all mentality is what's going to be the one to get in your way. But like I said, it has nothing to do with mentality, because the mentality of the game currently at the moment is that Tony Khan only brought her in just to boost up the ratings, just like he's done for every other wrestler in the past, over and over and over again. He's a mark for Sting. That's different. CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, they're main event talents. Adam Cole, he came from NXT as a main event talent, and even then, he was never really treated like that guy. No. Tony has a vision. He likes really, really good matches. He likes people who can go in the ring and put on 5-star caliber matches every week, completely diluting what it even means to have a 5-star match anymore. He has his way of thinking. He has his philosophy when it comes to professional wrestling. He is and forever will be a mark. And with a guy like that in the position of being a mark, do you really think that he has what it takes to actually give you a legitimate presentation that goes down the line, that actually doesn't just border over what it means to watch Marcus wrestling or actually pertain to any casual wrestling fans? No, he's going to choose one side. And that one side is the Marcus fans. Because that's who he cares about. What he wants is for Sasha Banks is to bring in some viewers this week to watch his current product. He wants Sasha Banks to bring in the viewers. That's what he's paying for. He's paying for Sasha Banks to bring in viewers to watch Okada. He's paying Sasha Banks to bring in viewers to watch Ospreay. And when that starts to die down, then you'll really see. And you'll come back to this video and you'll be like, damn, Devontae, you're right. No, I'm not right. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm just speaking common sense. Not common sense based off of what I'm saying. Common sense based off of the man's history. Don't believe me? Give it about 3 months and we'll revisit this topic again. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did I say anything that sounded out of place? Did I say anything that sounded incorrect? You can disagree with me all you want to. I'm not really caring for opinions in the sense of what you like or what's favorable to the situation. I'm looking at it purely and strictly from a numerical standpoint. You know, you want her to go against these two girls, and I think that's the path that you should go down if you're trying. And it's not to mention, I mean, maybe not so much Paige, but you can damn sure get a good match out of Toni Storm and Sasha Banks for the Women's Championship going up into, well, I forgot the name of the pay-per-view that's coming up, that Dynasty or something like that. Probably can even main event the show if you really want to, of a Sasha Banks and Toni Storm for the Women's Championship. Again, I'm not one to advocate for that, but at the same time, if your position is, well, Devontae, well, we want her to go up against Jamie Hayter because it'll be a really, really good match. I mean, what, as to suggest that her going up against someone like a Toni Storm be a bad match? Like I said, man, you guys think just like your leader, Tony Khan. And you know what? Like I said, it's going to be the downfall, not just of Tony Khan, not just of his company, if he keeps up this mentality, not just Sasha Banks, but also your wrestling livelihood. If you even want to say that, it sounds so weird, like trying to give that to a wrestling fan, am I right? Regardless, though, as always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Just think about it for a second. It's tomorrow. You still got time to take yourself out of that denial way of thinking. Because trust me, she ain't gonna do much in the company. Deuces. P. Ice.